3, 4, 5, 6.
Check, 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 check.
You got it, no problem. Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Coming up right now at 5.
Soon the snow will be gone and the weekend is looking great when the next round of snow and rain arrives.
That's going to mean longer appointment hours. It's going to mean more shipping hours.
Weather worries over the vaccine. Could recent storms impact our rollout?
More fans in the stands.
Having their parents there is important to them.
The new changes for sports means a step closer to normal life.
Eyewitness News at 5 starts right now.
Connecticut's #1 local news. This is Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
You plow the line and then it just gets covered right again.
These are the kind of storms that we call the annoying storms. Constantly keep going.
Yeah, that is for sure. We all agree with that. First at 5, an early warning weather alert with on and off snow making for a messy day. People right now cleaning up and also looking forward to the weekend.
Oh, yes. And that's because the final stretch of this long storm is winding down. But make sure you're careful. Some roads could remain slick throughout the evening. And make sure you keep the Channel 3 app handy. We will keep you updated with the very latest on the roads as well as the forecast.
And thanks for joining us right now at 5 as the snow slowly moves out. Chief Meteorologist Bruce DePriest is tracking what we can expect tonight. And over the weekend, we hear some rumors about sun, Bruce. Say it ain't.
Yes, no, it's
say
true.
It ain't so.
No sunshine for the weekend, and we deserve it. You know, this week we've had rain, freezing rain, a little sleet, and some snow, so it's time for some sunshine. But we're still dealing with snow in many parts of the state right now. Here's early warning pinpoint Doppler. You can see that we have snow falling in central, northern, and western Connecticut. We go into the Hartford area. We got a light to moderate snow coming down now where you see the darker shades of blue, and even into the northwestern hills. We still have some snow coming down around Norfolk and Colbrook, Cornwall, where we had a report of up to 4 inches of snow in Canaan from Jim Meehan there. All right, let's check out Kent over the last 3 hours. You can see 3 hours ago it wasn't doing much, and then the band of snow moved on in. So watch what happens in the parking lot there. It gets all coated up, and that could happen on your driveway, your steps, and maybe your sidewalk as well as we go through this evening before the snow comes to an end. So Kent currently is 27, Berlin is 30, Wellington is 29, Brantford is 30 degrees, and we're going to be heading down into the 20s as we go through tonight. So the last in this series of storms is moving out to sea. It's got snow falling across much of Connecticut right now, but it will come to an end. So Futurecast shows that at 7 o'clock this evening, snow. And then by midnight, it's pretty much all gone. And by tomorrow morning, we'll have a clear to partly cloudy sky. As far as temperatures go, again, watch out for slippery walking and slippery travel tonight. Temperatures will hover near or below freezing this evening, dip to around 23 by morning. But there it is. Sunshine for your Saturday morning, and temperatures even at the shore around freezing. I think the overnight low for the shoreline will be around 26 degrees. The weekend looks great, though it's going to be breezy and cold. We'll talk more about that and when we'll see our next chance for snow and rain.
All right, we'll see you in a few, Bruce. Thank you. Turning now to the coronavirus, and some new numbers just into the newsroom show the positivity rate is up slightly from yesterday. It is now sitting at 2.58%. In the last day, 27 more people have died from the virus.
We are tracking the vaccine for you right now at 5. Winter weather is causing problems for the vaccination process across the country, and there is concern it could create some issues here.
Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Mike Savino spoke with vaccine providers. He is joining us live now from a clinic in Hartford. And Mike, obviously a big concern is, could this mean appointments will be postponed for some people?
Well, right now, the answer seems to be no. Providers are confident. We still have a few days before our next shipment is supposed to come, so there's time for everything to get back on track. Also, providers say we do have a bit of a buffer if it's late by a day or two. That won't mean any cancellations or reschedulings, but all of this really does just depend on how quickly that national rollout can get back on track.
We've talked before about our inventory management and the partnership we have with our providers who are so great at working together to loan doses from site to site.
Governor Ned Lamont's office trying to get out in front of any potential delays in the next shipment of the coronavirus vaccine. Snow and severe cold blanketed the country, including major shipping hubs in Tennessee.
We haven't received any notification from the Department of Public Health that there will be a tightening of vaccine supply next week because of weather.
Healthcare providers said that they've not heard any reason to expect delays in Connecticut's next shipment. Normally that comes early in the week, meaning there's still time for vaccine shipments to get back on track. Federal officials say they're pushing for that to happen as soon as possible.
That's going to mean longer appointment hours. It's going to mean more shipping hours, and we're going to ask everybody to do their part.
Vaccine providers here also say Connecticut supply can withstand a delay of a day or two without any impact.
If it's delayed, unless it's really pushed back, we should be able to meet all the demands.
A longer delay could mean a need to reschedule appointments. That will be easier thanks to new clinics popping up, including one at Mohegan Sun Casino and this one at the Parker Memorial Community Center in Hartford. Trinity Health of New England and Hartford Healthcare both have more clinics opening as they try to get into cities.
It's very important to come at the community and let the community knows that we love y'all.
Now, both of those healthcare providers are also trying to find new ways to make appointments available for people who have been struggling to schedule one. I'll have more on that coming up on Eyewitness News at 6. For now, live from Hartford, Mike Savino, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Mike, thank you. New for you right now at 5. Veterans 50 and older will be able to get the Pfizer vaccine this weekend at the West Haven VA. You only have to be 50 or older. The facility is giving out doses on a first-come, first-served basis. This starts at noon on Sunday. A spokesperson for the governor's office did tell us this is a federally run clinic, of course, that has its own supply of vaccines and can do whatever they want with them. In order to get the vaccine, you must be enrolled for care with the VA, and you should be there no earlier than 11:45 in the morning. Vaccines will be given out until 4 in the afternoon or until the supply runs out.
Well, vaccines, of course, are top of mind for all of us right now. And there's actually a new study underway at Yale focusing on vaccinating children. We're going in depth on that topic. Channel 3's Eric Parker is back and looking into that this Sunday on our brand new show, CT21.
You talked about the importance of immunizing kids to achieve herd immunity. What is it about that population that makes them so important?
But kids can be infected and transmit those infections among themselves, to their parents, to their grandparents, and so they can be vectors of transmission. So it's critically important to vaccinate children also because we know we do need about 70% of the U.S. population to be vaccinated to achieve herd immunity, and you cannot achieve those numbers without including children.
And don't miss the debut of CT21 this Sunday morning at 8:30 right here on Channel 3.
Right now for you at 5, a win for high school athletes here in our state following a very crazy year. A new decision could bring back a little bit of normalcy, perhaps.
Governor Lamont is opening up sporting events to more fans. Channel 3 New Haven Bureau Chief Matt McFarland is live with the mobile newsroom in West Haven. And Matt, obviously this is great news for high schools.
Yeah, exactly. For the kids and their parents. We're here in Notre Dame, West Haven. They're playing Xavier tonight. Big rivals. Okay, they just finished the freshman game. JV starting, varsity, they'll tip at 7. Now, typically for a varsity game, this place would be packed. But obviously with a pandemic, it's going to be quite some time before it will return to that. But those involved with high school athletics told me you've got to walk before you can run. And the fact that more parents will now be allowed to watch their kids play, well, they say this is a start.
For now, noisy packed gyms and atmospheres like this will have to wait. But at least parents will be able to watch their kids play again.
Having their parents there is important to them. It's important to their parents.
Jason Shea is the athletic director and basketball coach at Notre Dame High School in West Haven. With the state's COVID numbers down and vaccines up, he says Governor Ned Lamont's move yesterday, allowing for increased crowds at youth sporting events, is a great first step. The governor touched on the changes during an appearance on Chaz and AJ in the mornings on 99.1 WPLR.
We said you're going to have up to 200 people in the stands, for the last of the hockey and basketball. Spring sports, I think, look really good, overwhelmingly outside.
While attendance will be capped at 25% or 200 fans, schools will make the call on who gets in. And that increase is important because if schools were allowing any fans at all, most were limited to just parents from the home team. Now the hope is visiting families will get to watch too.
In talking to several of our athletic directors and principals, I suspect over the next couple of days that people will phase in some changes.
Al Carbone is in his 17th year as the commissioner of the Southern Connecticut Conference, a league spanning 3 counties with 23 teams.
Really great for the student athletes to start, playing in front of their parents. And even some schools have had discussions about allowing their own students to come and watch their, classmates play.
And while Shea knows the students at Notre Dame would love to cheer on their classmates, he says that might take some time.
That's the real challenging one. We know how good our parents have been with masks and social distancing. And not that the kids would intentionally not be good, but they're just going to be excited. And so bringing them in is going to require quite a bit of supervision to keep them, separated.
And you can see a couple of parents already starting to come in for the next game. Again, JV next, then varsity at 7. Well, not just the high school sports that got sort of the announcement yesterday. Governor also announcing that interstate competitions for youth leagues, they're going to be able to start traveling back and forth between states. That will be able to start on March 1st. We're live at the mobile newsroom in West Haven. Matt McFarland, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Matt, thank you. And you can find more on those new sports guidelines from the governor right on the Channel 3 app. New tonight at 5 o'clock, a state trooper is again facing DUI charges following an off-duty crash in Canton earlier this month. Trooper Kenneth Dillon turned himself into police after a crash on Route 44. Police say Dillon was carrying his gun with him at the time. He is set to appear before a judge on March 11th. This is not the first time he's been arrested for driving under the influence. By the way, this is video from last year when Roger Suzanen interviewed him. He was arrested twice in 2018. One of those times for DUI. Trooper Dillon is on administrative suspension while an internal affairs investigation takes place.
New right now at 5, the father of a teenager shot and killed by a police officer in Wethersfield is suing that officer and the town. Jose Vega Colon filed a wrongful death lawsuit in his son's death and wants the state to order another investigation. 18-year-old Anthony Vega Cruz was shot in April of 2019 while trying to take off during a traffic stop. The initial investigation into the shooting ruled it was justified.
Getting the most out of each dose, the new way to make coronavirus vaccines last even longer.
Everyone needs a little help at one point, so just come on in. There's no judgment.
Paying it forward, a local restaurant lending a helping hand to help put food on everybody's table.
And later, with all the changes in healthcare, there is one that is here to stay, the new power right at your fingertips.
Good. Check, check, check. Thank you.
The weather may be to blame for a deadly accident on 84 West in Southbury last night. State police say a car hit two people who were outside of their cars between exits 15 and 16. One person died. At last check, the second person was seriously hurt and still in the hospital. The person who died has not been identified.
Continuing our team coverage on the weather tonight with a live look outside through our iCam over Hartford. And if you've looked out the window, we've had a lot of winter weather these days, and that has led to some more snow-related injuries.
Channel 3 meteorologist Connor Lewis talked with a doctor at Yale New Haven Hospital, and he's joining us live right now with more on what they're seeing. Connor.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, one thing's for sure is that with all this frequent winter weather, we're starting to get layers of snow, ice, snow, which is a particular problem for untreated surfaces. I don't know if you can see this right now, but just where I'm standing at right now, I think tomorrow, this same time tomorrow, it's going to be kind of an ice rink over here because we're getting that snow to smush down, turn into ice, leading to slippery conditions. So these untreated surfaces are a big deal. And what these experts are saying at Yale New Haven Hospital is that, especially compared to last year with our relatively quiet winter that we had, we're definitely seeing an uptick in snow-related injuries this winter.
We slipped. I think my husband slipped once, and then on his butt. That hurts.
Some falls can be much more serious. Recently, there have been 17 ankle fractures admitted to Yale New Haven Hospital emergency for surgery within a 24-hour span.
You would think that we know how to drive and walk and really go about our daily lives in the snow, but I think that it catches us by surprise sometimes, and certainly we need to be more careful than ever during the winter months, especially during the COVID pandemic.
The shoes and boots that you are wearing and the surface that you are walking on are key for traction and safety.
I definitely am running a lot, so I just check the sidewalks, make sure, try to run later in the day. It's a little warmer and there's not as much ice on the ground. And then even just shoveling out our cars, sometimes you just gotta, shovel out with like a metal shovel that ice layer to be able to get out safely.
Driving in the snow is a whole different ballgame. People can end up in the hospital from accidents that happen when they're going too fast for the conditions.
Just trying to go slowly and carefully and just leaving plenty of space before stopping at stop signs and stoplights and everything.
It doesn't take much as far as speed to get into an accident that's going to wind you up in the hospital. So it could be as low as 20, 30 miles an hour, and if we just can't stop, we might wind up rear-ending the person in front of us or running off the road into a pole.
And another example of a snow-related injury is interactions with plows. Dr. Leslie was also mentioning that pretty much every year there is some sort of an injury, some sort of an accident with the plow drivers. So just remember tonight you'll probably see those plow drivers helping keep those roads clear, that they have the right of way. Reporting in Rocky Hill, meteorologist Connor Lewis, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
You got to be very careful, especially now when you've got snow coming down that might be covering up a little bit of ice and make things kind of tricky and very, very slippery. So be careful walking and driving. Tonight, early warning pinpoint Doppler does show that we still have snow falling in the state. This is kind of the last hurrah from the storm that has been bothering us for, well, more than a day now. Here is Hartford. We're going to focus in on Hartford now, where you can see the darker shades of blue. This is light to moderate snow that's falling right now. This is also happening in the Waterbury area, right around not only Waterbury, but Watertown, Woodbury, Middlebury, Washington as well, and even into northeastern Connecticut right now. We got this shade of darker blue. So where we've had 1.5 inches in Staffordville, you're probably going to get a little bit more than that before all is said and done. Let's check out some iCams. You can see the snow is light but steady in Hartford, where the temperature is now 31 degrees. It is snowing in Waterbury, not terribly hard, but it's a steady snow. And I think, before this all winds down later on tonight toward midnight, we're going to see a coating to 1 inch of additional accumulation. Meanwhile, not a lot going on in Old Saybrook. Maybe a few snowflakes coming down. Snowfall totals between yesterday and today. New London, according to Paul, nearly 5.5. In Canaan, 4 inches. Weathersfield, 2. Windsor Locks, nearly 2 inches. Staffordville, 1.5. And in South Windham, 1. There might be some locations in Connecticut that eventually top out over the 6-inch mark, and that's especially true in southern portions of the state where they've already had 6 inches of snow in places like Wallingford and Killingworth. So temperature-wise, we're in the 20s and low 30s now. Many locations at or just below the freezing mark. It is 26 degrees in Torrington right now, and we got a north to northeasterly wind that's averaging 5 to 12 miles an hour, and that has wind chills in the upper teens and 20s right now. So again, we're at or below freezing in many parts of the state. Watch out for those slick spots. I did notice that some surfaces are getting coated up again with this next round of snow that's moving through. So the last in this series of coastal storms will move out to sea. You can see weather conditions to our south and west improve. So give it a few more hours and then we'll be done with it. Futurecast shows that we'll still have snow at 7 o'clock this evening, but by midnight it should be gone, and then we'll have clearing skies by tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, a partly sunny, breezy day. There could be a passing flurry or snow shower in some towns, but it's going to be nice to see the sunshine for tomorrow. Clear and cold tomorrow night, and then Sunday, that's going to be a very sunny day. Maybe a few clouds, otherwise a lot of blue sky up there on Sunday. So wrapping up the weekend on a beautiful note. All right, so lows tonight, mostly in the 20s, some upper teens in the Litchfield Hills, and your highs for tomorrow will be in the low and middle 30s, but it may not get up to 30 in the Litchfield Hills. We'll say Hartford 33 in New Haven, 35 tomorrow. Teens tomorrow night, 32 on Sunday with bright sunshine. Then Monday, cloudy. We'll have some wet snow and rain moving in, a high near 40. And then much of next week looks okay and milder too. Highs in the 40s, maybe 30s by Friday. And look at Wednesday. Temperatures could actually come very close to 50 for the shoreline this weekend. 36 tomorrow and 36, but sunny, or 35, but sunny on Sunday.
Okay, Bruce, thank you very much. Today, President Biden toured a COVID vaccine facility in Michigan. As he looks to increase shipments everywhere, he reiterated his push to have enough vaccine supply for all Americans by the end of July. In the coming weeks, the administration says it will open 5 more federal mass vaccination sites in several states. Today, the president also pushed his COVID relief plan, which includes money for vaccines, stimulus payments, and more.
New data shows Pfizer's vaccine can be stored at warmer temperatures. Right now, it's good for up to 6 months if stored in an ultra cold freezer, but the company says it can still last up to 2 weeks when put in a normal freezer. The new findings have been submitted to the FDA with the hopes of helping vaccine centers and pharmacies better manage their supplies. The president says the U.S. will step in to help developing countries get the coronavirus vaccine. The U.S. will provide $4 billion to deliver COVID vaccines to nations in need. The money comes from funds Congress has already appropriated for international vaccination efforts and will not impact the ability to vaccinate Americans.
Still ahead tonight, has the pandemic created a baby boom? Or what about a baby bust? Experts are weighing in.
I think it's a good idea. You know, you have to, protect the people and save lives.
And later, hitting the brakes in New Britain, the new campaign aimed at stopping people from speeding. All new tonight at 5, a Meriden restaurant is looking to help those in need who may be having a hard time putting food on the table. Wise Guys on West Main Street created a bulletin board full of prepaid meal receipts based on donations from customers. How great is that? People who are having financial troubles can pull one of those guest checks down and put it right towards their meal. The owner says they've gotten an outpouring of support from the community.
We have a lot of people who love us. We have some people who don't like us, but at the end of the day, it's everyone's banding together. Even one lady, she's like, look, I really don't like your pizza too much, but what you do for the community is awesome. Here's $100, take care of them.
Oh my. Oh, it's really nice though. The owner says the idea works well since some of their meals, like pizzas, are served in family portions.
That is great. Good pizza, though. It's good. Okay. Now to today's Jobs for CT report. A shoreline resort is hiring. The position is for a hotel front desk supervisor at Water's Edge in Westbrook, a beautiful place. The person hired will be the first point of contact for guests and help make their stay enjoyable. You'll also help with reservations, checking people in and out, and explaining all the amenities there at the resort. Applicants should have some supervisory and hospitality experience. You get a great view there, too, by the way. You'll find more details and a link on the Channel 3 app. If this isn't the job for you and you're looking for something else, just go to cthires.com.
All right, early morning pinpoint Doppler. The only live Doppler radar in the state of Connecticut right now is showing, as it spins around, some light to darker shades of blue, indicating light to moderate snow right now. And that's happening across a good part of the state right now. This will all end by midnight, and tomorrow, sunshine, partly sunny skies. It's going to be breezy. Temperatures will reach 32, maybe 33 inland. And for the shoreline, we'll start out in the 20s and make our way up to the mid-30s during the afternoon. Mark will let you know what's in store for the second half of the weekend and a warm-up next week. It's all coming up at 5:30.
When I was young, I sold drugs and ran around in the neighborhoods. Yeah, I was wilding out.
Well, here's a question. What did you do during the pandemic? Uh-oh. From the start of all of this, there were a lot of predictions of a big baby boom, with many couples stuck at home with really nothing else to do.
But apparently, as it turns out, in some cases, the pandemic and economic struggles have led some Americans to hold off on family planning. While pockets of the country are seeing many more bumps, analysts predict nationwide the pandemic is more likely to cause a baby bust.
It's a stressful time that we live in. Stress is not great for thinking like, gee, I'd like to have a baby right now. There's issues with daycare, school closings, relationship formation.
The birth rate in the U.S. was on the decline before the pandemic. If that trend continues, some experts worry this could lead to a shrinking workforce and economy.
Connecticut's #1 local news. This is Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
The big story is right now at 5:30, sick of speeders on their street. The city of New Britain is trying to catch dangerous drivers and make them slow down.
And the coronavirus reshaping the healthcare system, the changes you might notice the next time you need a doctor.
When I was young, I sold drugs and ran around in the neighborhoods. Yeah, I was wilding out.
From hustling the streets to helping New Haven, how one man is connecting with children before they commit crimes.
But first up for you right now at 5:30, an early warning weather alert after snowing for more than 24 days. At least that's what it seems like, 24 hours. The flakes will finally start to wind down, as you can see from our iCams for you in Hartford and Old Saybrook. Still looks like it's coming down in Hartford, though, right now.
Yeah, it really does. And this morning, early warning weather tracker 2 was out on the roads when things were pretty slippery, but conditions have gradually improved throughout the day, which is a good thing, but could still be slick in some spots, so definitely be careful. Now, tonight, the concern switches to a cold and gusty wind.
Meteorologist Mark Dixon is here right now with more on the forecast heading into the weekend. Hi there, Mark.
Yeah, hey, Mark and Aaron. Yeah, we've got a little window of time left for some snow to fall across Connecticut. Then, yes, it's going to get cold and certainly breezy as we head into the weekend. So we still have our winter weather advisory. This is in effect for another 90 minutes. And we continue to track areas of snow coming down at a pretty good clip across Connecticut. We're zoomed in here on early warning pinpoint Doppler to the quiet corner. See these darker shades of blue moving through Tolland and Vernon, moving into, say, Ashford Stores, eventually toward the 395 corridor. Another batch of heavier snow working through Cromwell, Middletown, Middlefield, through Durham, and points west along 691 to Southington, back around Waterbury, up and down Route 8 into Fairfield County as well. So looking at the statewide perspective, you can see the scattered nature of those darker blues. But this is the last hurrah. What's moving through Litchfield County and into western Connecticut, that's the back edge as it will be pivoting through Connecticut over the next hour or two. We've got temps in the mid and upper 20s really all across the state, from West Haven to Stores, from Bristol to Washington. And when you factor in a bit of a northerly breeze, it makes it feel a tad colder. So again, there's the back edge of the snow that's going to be working from west to east across Connecticut. And once that wraps up, as you can see here on Futurecast, the cloud cover will also be eroding from west to east as we head through the overnight hours. So tomorrow morning, good amount of sunshine. During our Saturday morning, during the afternoon, we'll say partly sunny with perhaps a couple of flurries. Temperature-wise, tomorrow we'll start off in the mid-20s. So yes, with any melting that took place today or that residual moisture on untreated surfaces, that will be refreezing, allowing for slick spots, black ice to develop by early tomorrow morning. Then we'll top out between 30 and 35 by tomorrow afternoon. But the wind tomorrow morning especially will make it feel more like the teens statewide, even some upper single digits coming in from the northwest hills, and by tomorrow afternoon recovering only to say between 15 and 25 when it comes to what it feels like across Connecticut. It will be less windy on Sunday. We'll have more on that, as well as a storm to kick off next week, and then potentially some near 50-degree warmth on the early warning 7-day forecast.
All right, we're all over the place, Mark.
We are.
Thank you. New at 5:30, the city of New Britain is launching a new campaign after members of the community voiced concerns about drivers speeding in residential and high traffic areas. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Courtney Zeller is joining us live from New Britain, where Operation Safe Travels was launched earlier this month. Courtney, how's it going so far?
Well, good. The mayor thinks it's going really well. They expect to continue this effort. Police are really ticketing drivers who are speeding, blowing through stop signs. But turns out it's become much more than that. Since this enforcement started, they've already made an arrest. Corbin Avenue in New Britain is a highly traveled street, and people who frequent it know drivers don't always obey the law.
and they run the light as well. So yeah, you got to be very careful.
New Britain police have been patrolling this area more often, along with some other problem areas. The city started Operation Safe Travels in an effort to crack down on those speeding, running lights, and stop signs.
I will tell you, there is not a week that goes by where we don't receive at least a handful of complaints from people complaining about speeding on their respective streets.
And those community concerns is why the effort was launched.
And we're talking residential neighborhoods too. We're not talking, main thoroughfares, but it's causing accidents and profound problems for people in these neighborhoods with people that are just extremely careless.
Operation Safe Travel started this month. In the first week, police have given out 57 traffic tickets, 19 verbal warnings. One person was arrested for an outstanding warrant. 7 people were issued court summons, and one driver refused to stop for police.
And we need to do what we can to combat it, put a stop to it, and let people know you're not going to be able to drive like that in town here without being, ticketed for it.
Some residents say they are all for it.
I think it's a good idea. You have to, protect the people and save lives, A lot of innocent people pass away on the account of speeders and drunk drivers and so on and so forth.
And the city of New Britain is using local dollars from grants they've received through the police department to pay for this. We're live from New Britain. Courtney Zeller, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Courtney,